Good morning. It's me again. Different green hoodie. Same dirty hair on my head. Um, Today I want to talk to you about um I don't know, what do you guys want to talk about? I actually want to talk to you about our obligation to help other people. I feel like it gets lost in the metrics and the pressure and, just the obligations that we have outside of our job or outside of the process in sales. But really, we have an ethical and moral obligation to help our fellow human in any situation. But in this particular instance, regarding sales, we have an obligation to help our fellow human in the sales process, though. I feel like a lot of times we're worried about metrics and hitting our goals and, box checking and making sure that everybody at our job is happy and making sure that our job is secure and making sure that, we're not going to get sued. Or, in our case, as an insurance person, we have E&O insurance for a reason because if we make a mistake, it could cost someone their entire life, their home, their car, their savings, their business, whatever. So we have to protect ourselves because we're human and we make mistakes. But in that, what is our obligation to help someone through the sales process? So, yeah, my job is to do my job well. Everybody knows that. Everybody has a job, and the expectation is to get into your job and do it properly and do it well. But beyond that, as a salesperson, the expectation is just to sell. There's a lot missing in the process, in my opinion. That's why I created this course called The Client Connection. It's about building rapport with both referral partners and prospects and clients because otherwise it's just transactional and that's fine. But I don't own a boutique and I'm just selling someone, some random tourist, a bikini because they forgot theirs at home. I'm selling insurance that is protecting their livelihood and their business and their kids and their employees and all of those things. And, whatever you're selling, if you're a lawyer or IT or whatever it is, it's a protection. It's a service. It's something that's supposed to elevate their experience and their clients' experiences. And that's very important to them. That's how they do business. That's why they do business. That's why you do business. That's why I do business. So our obligation is to help our clients and it's to help protect them or elevate their business or whatever. And our obligation is to help them ethically. So when you help someone and you approach sales from that perspective, it really does remove the transactional part of sales. I mean, sales is sales. We're selling something. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to feel icky and it can feel fulfilling. It can feel less transactional, even though it is technically a transaction. It can be someone that, like you're selling your old car to your little sister or your best friend or whatever, or, reselling your designer clothes that no longer fit or, you're just not interested in, but like, how exciting for that person that gets to buy them. They get designer for less, they get a car for less, and they know it's from someone that they trust and they love, and they know that took care of that item or the car. And so it's just a more pleasant experience. And it's more pleasant for both of you. Like, you got to give your item, your car, whatever, to someone who really appreciates it and is going to take good care of it. And that feels good. And the person that got it feels good. So fulfillment all around. And really, isn't that why we get up every day is to have some fulfillment? Nobody gets up and's like, all right, what can I feel like shit about today? At least not most people. We get up and go, all right, we avoid like the plague feeling like shit. Like, let's be honest. We avoid uncomfortable conversations. We avoid people that we don't like talking to or hanging out with. We avoid paying bills. We avoid looking at our bank accounts. We avoid doing the lawn, the dishes, whatever it is that we don't like, whatever's uncomfortable, we avoid. It's a human trait. It is what it is. So if we're not getting up in the morning and going, okay, what do I get to avoid today? We're, it's not fulfilling. We're trying to have a better experience. So if we can bring that to our sales process, and if we can really try to have more fulfillment, more happiness, more joy, more purpose, more fulfillment, more connection, then having a sales job isn't going to feel salesy. And a lot of time people aren't successful or aren't as successful in sales because they're like, oh, I don't want to feel salesy and I don't want to really, I don't want to be the used car guy. I'm not going to be pushy. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, you're probably not going to sell as much, which means you're not going to be as successful. And that may or may not lead to you losing your job. But you can still have those ethics and remove the ick if you are approaching it differently. If you approach every single person and you know you can help them, you know you can do a better job, you're going to have better service, it's a better product, it's going to last longer, there's going to be less headaches, whatever it is, it's going to elevate their experience to the point where they're going to grow their business, they're going to make more money, they're going to save money, whatever it is, anything, then you should be pursuing them like, what is the saying? Like white on rice, like a fly on shit, whatever, because you're going to help them and you know it. You're more ethical, you're more integral, you're better at your job, you're have better follow through, whatever it is. Besides the fact that the product is better or the service is better or your team is better or the longevity of whatever you're doing is better. It is within your power to help them. And that is our obligation as humans is to help people always and forever. Whatever it is. You see, like for example, I was leaving my esthetician and I was driving and this little old lady was like just having the time of her life. She was getting out of her condo across the street. She was walking across the street. She was so happy. She was like walking along like, "Hi," waving at everyone. She was just thrilled to be out of the house. She was so excited to be going to get her nails done or wherever she was going. And she fell. I didn't see her fall. I just waved at her and I looked to turn to see if there was a car coming so I could leave because she was waving happily at me. And then I turned back around and she was on the ground. So I like whipped my car in a park, jumped out of the car, ran over. I mean, this poor old lady. I mean, she was older, 70s, 80s, I don't know, 90. I'm not good at age. And I helped her up and, just had a conversation with her. I'm sure she was scared. I could tell she was scared. We just had a conversation. We made sure she was okay. I just had her sit there for a second because I've fallen down as a young person and someone runs over and whips me off my feet to get me back up. Not the right thing to do. My body's in shock. My brain is in shock. I'm trying to figure out, did I break something? Am I okay? I'm panicking. And as an old person, the automatic assumption is that something went wrong. So I'm sure she was like panicky. So I just calmed her down, had a conversation, and when she was ready, I lifted her up. And it was just one of those things. You just did it. I could have easily driven off. I mean, I could tell she was probably okay, but fuck that. You get out of your car and you go help someone. Just like when you're selling, you know you're the best person for the job. You know that their broker or their salesperson is dropping the ball. The other salesperson is transactional. There's a there's a stigma with salespeople that they're, shady and transactional and not integral, the used car salesman kind of thing. Okay, well, that's there for a reason. There's a lot of shady people. There's people that are in sales for the wrong reason. There's people that are in sales for the right reason, but in the wrong company or selling the wrong product or whatever. And so it just doesn't translate and they're not helping, they're selling, they're helping themselves make money. And as you should be one of the top priorities is to make sure that you are being taken care of because nobody else is going to help you. It's not like you're like, well, I was really good to all these people, but I didn't do it in the right way, so then I got screwed. Okay, well, no one's going to run up and be like, oh, you poor thing, here's $1 million. No, they're going to be like, oh, that sucks, so you should have done it differently. Go figure it out. That's life. And, do it better next time, right? So take care of yourself, take care of your client, and the obligation to help other people stems across everything. But when you're in sales, it's something that I find super fulfilling. The end of the day, like when I first started in insurance, I was doing home and auto. And I had a couple of mortgage broker people that were regularly sending me people, but they were all first time home buyers. So mostly condos, which means a teeny tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny tiny commission, like small. And it was a crap ton of work. They'd never bought insurance before. Their parents probably did it for them, or they used their parents' insurance person who just sent them a policy and they just paid for it. They didn't ask any questions, which is great. But now it's their turn and they had to learn. And it was super fulfilling for me to teach them about insurance and teach them the right questions to ask and why certain things are important and why things aren't. And there's some things that are fluid. It depends on your budget and what you have and all the things. I was exciting to teach them. But at the end of the day, it was a barrage of questions, a barrage of emails, multiple phone calls, multiple questions, like a lot of work for like no exaggeration, sometimes 20 bucks, sometimes 50. It was not a lot of money. But again, it was fulfilling. So in that, I helped them. I gave them education. I made sure they were taken care of properly. It was awesome. But now I'm doing that on a much bigger scale where I'm helping business owners with larger accounts doing all of that stuff. And I get to be integral in that way. So I get to still do the education. I get to still have the fulfilling day, but I get to actually make money now. And that is what you should be doing. Strive for as much money as fucking possible. There's no shade in that. Please make as much money as you want. If you only want to make 50 bucks a sale, then make 50 bucks a sale. That's your life. You do you. But I personally want to make 50,000 a sale. So, or more. And if that's how it's going to work, then I get to be fulfilled. I get to help the client. I get to make sure that they're growing their business. I get to give them all the things that they need, and then I get to leave with a big fat fucking check and the fulfillment. So that is my lecture for the day. I'm, I have to tell you, I learned lecturing from my dad. I don't know if you guys have parents or aunts or grandmas or somebody that loves to lecture, but every single time I see my dad or every single time I get on the phone with him, it's like the joke. I can never get off the phone with him ever. 5 minute conversation, hour, at least one lecture. Yesterday it was, okay, don't forget where you came from. Money's not your, money's not everything or something about that. And my mom started laughing. She goes, there you go. You got your lecture for the day. Which, my dad, that's how he shows love. Trying to keep you safe is all it is. And really, it's kind of keeping me small. So I take it with a grain of salt, and I know that I got to stay humble. I got to stay a good person. I got to stay integral, but also that doesn't mean I have to stay without any money. So one of the lessons I learned is discernment. We can talk about discernment another day. But today, I just want to tell you that it is okay to make a fuck ton of money. It is okay to have a sales job and not feel salesy. There's ways around everything. If you want to take my course, The Client Connection, it is specifically about building rapport with clients to make it easier to get in, make it easier to stay. It's a longevity play, but it is so much more fulfilling. It's so much more fun, and it's way freaking easier. So anyway, if you get the opportunity today, help somebody, whether it's in your job or not, just find a way. One of my referral partners sent me something earlier today. She's doing a Habitat for Humanity with this women's group. So I sent 50 bucks in, whatever you got. If you got 5 bucks, send 5 bucks. If you have your time, send your time. Philanthropy is amazing. Helping others is amazing. Um, and yeah, that's my thing today. Me and my green hoodie. I love a good green hoodie. I love a hoodie. I already had my coffee, so I'm buzzing. But anyway, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the flip side.